All right, so we're back. And you know what that means. It's time for another deep dive. And today we're going back to a moment in the X-Files. I don't know about you, but it felt like a big deal, like something was being revealed, something hidden.
Yeah, paperclip, right.
Paperclip, exactly. And back then, it felt like we were uncovering something huge, something buried deep. And for this deep dive, we've got all our stuff together. You know, the episode summaries, the behind-the-scenes whispers, even how people reacted way back when. We want you to really get why this episode was such a big deal and why it still keeps people thinking. It's like a puzzle piece, a really important one in the grand scheme of things.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a key turning in a lock, revealing a whole new layer of the X-Files mythos.
Right, and we want to walk you through the whole thing, the twisting plot, the real-world connections, all of it, so you can understand why it resonated so much and continues to intrigue.
It's not just a standalone episode, you know? It's connected to everything, tying things together and setting the stage for even more surprises.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is how it mixes fictional conspiracies with real historical events.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so unsettling.
Absolutely. Blurs the lines, you know, makes you think twice about what's real and what's not.
Now, to really get Paperclip, we have to remember where it falls in the story. It's not just a random episode. It's the climax of a three-part arc. You know, starting with Anasazi, the end of Season 2, all the way to The Blessing Way, the Season 3 opener.
Yeah, by the time Paperclip starts, the stakes are already incredibly high. We're on the edge of our seats.
Absolutely. The episode throws you right into the action. Skinner and Scully, guns drawn, that standoff.
Intense.
So intense. And then Mulder just appears like a ghost.
It's a moment of pure tension. We're relieved, but also terrified what's going to happen.
It's like the calm before the storm. Everyone's on edge, especially Skinner, who's caught between a rock and a hard place. You know, loyalty to Mulder and Scully, but also the pressure from above.
He's definitely in a tight spot.
He's walking a tightrope. And then there's the digital tape, right?
Oh, yeah, that mysterious tape full of secrets.
Mulder wants it. Skinner says it's their only hope.
Their only leverage to expose the truth, get their jobs back, and maybe even their lives back on track.
Exactly. So it's a high-stakes game of chess right from the get-go.
And who can you trust? Can Mulder and Scully trust Skinner? Can Skinner trust anyone? The episode keeps you guessing about everyone's true motives.
Oh, the tension. And then who do they turn to?
The lone gunman, of course.
Of course. Those guys are always ready to dive into the weird stuff. And this time, they give Mulder and Scully a crucial piece of the puzzle, a photograph.
It seems so ordinary at first, just a group of guys. But appearances can be deceiving, right?
Right. Who are these guys?
Well, there's Bill Mulder, Mulder's dad, the Smoking Man, and Deep Throat, all players in the larger conspiracy. But it's the fourth guy, Victor Klumper, that really changes things.
It's the lone gunman that recognized Klumper, right?
Yeah, and they know him as a Nazi scientist who was brought to the U.S. after World War II as part of this thing called Operation Paperclip. So suddenly, the story gets really dark.
I mean, Operation Paperclip was a real thing, wasn't it?
It absolutely was. The U.S. recruited all these German scientists, some of whom had done terrible things because of their knowledge.
It's a crazy part of history.
And the X-Files takes that and twists it, weaving it into their mythology, suggesting even darker things like alien research and government-sponsored eugenics programs.
And that's why this episode is so unnerving, because it blends fact and fiction so seamlessly. And then right when they're dealing with this shocking information, Frohike comes in with bad news for Scully about her sister Melissa.
Another layer of tension. The conspiracy starts to feel personal, dangerous. Mulder even warns Scully about visiting her sister, sensing something's not right.
Right. He knows how ruthless these people are. Anyone close to them is a target.
Meanwhile, the syndicate is freaking out. Someone's been murdered, and they need that digital tape.
They're putting a lot of pressure on the Smoking Man, huh?
A lot of pressure. And you can see he's starting to sweat, but he assures them he'll get it.
The Smoking Man, always playing his games. You can tell he's walking a fine line, too. He's not as untouchable as he seems.
Power struggles even in a secret society, right?
Right. And then Mulder and Scully, they go after Klumper. They find him at an orchid greenhouse, of all places. Seems peaceful, but you know something's going to happen.
Such a weird juxtaposition, right? This serene setting and the darkness that's about to unfold.
It's like the calm before a storm.
Exactly. And Klumper, he's so calm, so detached. He tells them where the photo was taken.
The Strughold Mining Company in West Virginia, right?
Right. And then he gives them this weird clue. Napier's Constant. Sounds like a math problem.
Well, it is a math term, but it turns out to be a key to unlocking something much bigger.
And right after that, Klemper makes a call. He calls the well-manicured man, tells him Mulder's still alive.
Oh man, that's a problem for the smoking man.
Definitely. Shows that even within the syndicate, there's a lot of mistrust.
And while this is happening, Albert Hosteen visits Melissa in the hospital, and guess who we see?
The blue-suited man.
The blue-suited man lurking around. The danger Mulder sensed is getting real.
Classic X-Files move, that glimpse of the blue-suited man. Creates so much suspense and paranoia, right?
It's chilling, right? So Mulder and Scully, they head to the mining company.
They get there, and it looks abandoned, run down, but something's not right.
Yeah, something's definitely off.
And that's when they see it, these massive high-security vault doors.
Like way too high-tech for an abandoned mine.
Right. They find a keypad, and they try to use Napier's constant as the code. They enter 27828.
That's actually not quite right, is it?
It's close. The real Napier's constant starts with 2.7182.
Oh, wow. They got him with the wrong code.
Yeah, a bit of a slip up there, but hey, it worked.
It makes you wonder, it's almost like they're stumbling upon the truth by accident.
Right. And what they find inside is mind-blowing. A huge complex filled with filing cabinets.
Rows and rows of them, right?
Exactly. And they're not just random files. These are smallpox vaccination records and tissue samples.
All organized by birth date, too.
Yeah, creepy. A huge secret database, and it points to something way bigger than just smallpox vaccinations. And then Mulder, he finds files for Scully and for his sister Samantha. And guess what?
What?
The label on Samantha's file originally had his name on it. Like he was supposed to be taken instead of her.
Oh, that's chilling.
Yeah.
It suggests that Mulder was originally a target, and this whole genetic archive was much more sinister than anyone imagined.
Definitely.
I mean, a secret government project collecting genetic data, that's scary stuff.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, Mulder sees a UFO.
Classic X-Files.
Classic. And Scully. She has this encounter with these small, alien-looking creatures.
Almost like a dream, right? Adds to the whole mystery and the extraterrestrial element of it all. And then armed soldiers show up.
Mulder and Scully have to make a run for it.
It's a close call.
Meanwhile, Skinner's playing his own dangerous game. He meets with the smoking man, making him think he still has the digital tape.
The smoking man is furious. He threatens Skinner, doesn't even try to negotiate.
Skinner is really putting himself out there for Mulder and Scully.
Totally. It's a huge risk, but he does it anyway. Shows how far he's come, how much he cares.
And then we see Skinner, Mulder, and Scully meeting up at this quiet diner.
A very X-Files setting for a secret meeting, right?
Right. And Skinner has a plan. He wants to trade the tape for their jobs back and their safety.
A risky plan, but what choice do they have?
Right, they're desperate.
And Mulder's hesitant, of course. He doesn't fully trust Skinner yet. But eventually he agrees.
So they're going with the plan. And then Skinner goes to the hospital to check on Melissa, and Albert Hosteen warns him about the blue-suited man. He says danger is close.
Foreshadowing. And guess what happens next?
Krycek shows up.
Krycek and Lewis Cardinal, they ambush Skinner in the hospital stairwell.
They take the tape,
It's a brutal attack.
and then boom, the car explodes.
But Krycek somehow survives. It's crazy.
Krycek's got 9 lives or something, and now he's got the tape, making it a real wild card.
He goes straight to the smoking man, telling him he's got the goods and he's calling the shots.
So the tables have turned, and where are Mulder and Scully during all this?
They go back to Klemper's greenhouse, and guess who's there waiting for them?
The well-manicured man.
The well-manicured man himself. And he drops some serious truth bombs.
Like what?
He tells them that Bill Mulder, he wasn't just involved in the genetic data collection. He was a major player in the whole thing. He even worked with Klemper on these alien-human hybrids.
Whoa. That changes everything.
And the reason they took Samantha, it was to keep Bill Mulder quiet about what he knew. It's a devastating betrayal.
And then Mulder goes to see his mother,
Mm-hmm.
and she confirms it. His father chose Samantha to be taken. Can you imagine the heartbreak?
I can't even imagine.
And then, right on top of that, Scully tells Mulder that Melissa has died. It's so much loss.
Melissa's death is a direct result of the conspiracy. It's a tragic mistake, but it shows just how dangerous these people are.
And it makes Scully's determination even stronger. She's not going to let them get away with it.
Meanwhile, the smoking man's scrambling. He lies to the syndicate, tells them he destroyed the tape.
Trying to cover his tracks, huh?
Exactly. But Skinner, he's got one last trick up his sleeve. He goes to the smoking man, bluffs about still having the tape.
You know the smoking man knows he's bluffing.
But Skinner reveals his ace in the hole. Albert Hosteen and 20 other Navajo people who have memorized the entire contents of the tape.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
It is, and it's checkmate for the smoking man. Skinner wins.
So what does it all mean? Paperclip mixes real history with that classic X-Files paranoia, doesn't it?
Yeah, Operation Paperclip becomes the background for the syndicate's shadowy activities. And it makes you think about government overreach and the potential for abuse of power.
Especially when it comes to things like genetic data and scientific experiment.
Definitely. And Paperclip deals with really big themes like betrayal, the ethics of science, and this growing distrust of authority.
It's like they were reflecting what was happening in the real world back then.
Exactly. And the creators of the show even said they drew inspiration from things like Star Wars, with the father-son betrayal, and Sophie's Choice, with the impossible choice Bill Mulder had to make.
Those are some heavy references.
They add another layer of depth and complexity to the episode.
And there's so much cool stuff behind the scenes, too. Like, they filmed the mining facility at this place called the Britannia Mine Museum in British Columbia.
And those little alien creatures that Scully sees, those were played by children.
Really?
Yeah. It's creepy but kind of innocent at the same time.
The UFO, too. That was all done with practical effects.
Yeah, no CGI back then.
And this episode was dedicated to Mario Mark Kennedy, a big X-Files fan who passed away.
A nice touch. Shows how much they cared about their fans. And despite that little mistake with Napier's Constant, a lot of people involved with the show, like Frank Spotnitz and Rob Bowman, they consider Paperclip to be one of the best episodes.
Yeah, and even Mitch Pileggi, who plays Skinner, he said one of his favorite lines is from this episode, "Pucker up and kiss my ass."
Classic Skinner. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, what do you think, listener? We've seen the conspiracy getting bigger, seen the impact it's had on Mulder and Scully, and explored those connections to real history.
We hope you've had those aha moments along the way.
And Paperclip makes you think, how far can governments go in the name of security? Where do we draw the line with data collection and scientific experiment?
Big questions, right?
Yeah. And how do these echoes from the past, both real and fictional, shape our fears and the stories we tell ourselves?
It's something to think about. So this deep dive into Paperclip reminds us why the X-Files is still so powerful. It mixes the fantastical with real human fears and historical events. It's a classic episode, and every time you watch it, you discover something new. We'll be back soon to dive into another mystery, something hidden just beyond the veil of what we think we know.
Can't wait.
See you then.